Hi everyone, the topic that we are going to do today is office memorandum, which is also called office memos or memo, and office orders. So let's first start with office memorandum. As I've told you, office memorandum or also called memo is basically a very short piece of design document which is used for communication within an organization. So any kind of communication which has to be given to a very specific audience, then in that case, the organization can use to float that information through memos. It is a short notice kind of thing which can be written by the management to communicate the policies and announcements of the organization. A memorandum, as the word says, a memo, it is a written note that is used in any kind of business environment to convey the information or a piece of important discussion from one person to another person or to a specified group of people. It has to be a brief kind of document. It cannot be very long. It has to be very short and confined to few limited words, giving only the relevant information which is at most required to be transferred. How do we write a good memo? A memo, as I've said, that it has to be as short as possible. We cannot write a very big memo. We cannot write all the details into the memo, but only the basic information which is required to be mentioned as at that particular point in time to be transferred to the group of people. We have to use a simple language so that it is clearly understood by everybody who reads it. Memos are generally written with a captivating heading, which means the heading which is written on the top of the memo is sufficient enough for the person to understand the motive or the kind of discussion that is presented further into the memo. Then the second thing that memo says that it has to be less formal in tone. When I say it has to be presented into a simple English, which means that the formality of communication becomes even lesser. Salutation or complimentary clauses can be used in the memo like we use in the letters. What are the characteristics of a good memo? So a memo supplies important information, the sufficient information. We do not assume that everyone knows, which means whatever information is being passed on to people is not assumed to be understood by the verbal methodology, which is why the memo is being written in the first place. Everything need to be discussed appropriately under the memo. It has to be very clear, concrete, and very specific to the point. It is easy to understand, which is why both the vocabulary and the language has to be easy. Explain with ease and cooperation, and there has to be no official appeal. Why? Because at the end of the day, it is an organizational formal document. Office memorandums are largely used to provide information, instructions, convey policies and decisions of the organization, or to invite suggestions, or to maintain report or record a proper agreement or any kind of discussion between the people, to establish an accountability and to help avoiding any kind of personal meetings. A memorandum is used. The format of the memo will be as follows. On top of the memo, we'll write a header, which means the topic, the memo, the word memo, and after which the recipient's name, address, and designation is written. After that, the sender's name and address and designation is written. Even if we do not write the address of the sender, that is perfectly okay, but the name of the sender has to be really there. After that, the date on which the memo is being issued, and then comes the captivating title, which has to be mentioned, which will tell how a memo is to be or on what the memo is presented upon. Likewise, we also have office orders. Just like a memo is presented, an office order is also issued by basically either an employer or by any of the senior authority of the firm. Office order contains instructions about how the work has to be done or any other work, any other instruction which relates to the work related environment. The employees are bound to accept the office order as it has come from the senior authority. Office orders are issued in the beginning of the month, in the week, or maybe whenever required by the organization. The authorities can take a call upon it. Office order can be issued on any particular information that has to be floated to the employees. For example, their working hours, their promotions, etc. And it is always a downward communication as it is being transferred from the top level management or by the senior authorities to their subordinates. These orders carries out the communication about any kind of change which has happened into the organization or any kind of discussion upon the delivery of work that has to happen between the subordinate. That's all, I think, for today's class. Next class, we'll be discussing the next topic. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.